Welcome back to the floor of the CME Group here in Chicago. I'm Killer from Treasury Curve. Treasury Curve is an institutional money market portal. We assist firms in their overnight cash management. Today's Tuesday, February 222. And just like Classroom 222 back in the day, let's talk about this Wisconsin austerity. I think that is going to be a paramount issue here domestically. But more important right now, folks, is what's going on in Libya. You know, we saw the political unrest. It started in Tunisia, transformed over to Egypt. They had a successful revolt in Egypt. And now every other country near that is really catching on. Wildfire is spreading, folks. Libya, mass violence over the weekend. Currently, Muammar Gaddafi, and let's look at that guy for a second. When I was in New York last week, I swear that same guy asked me to buy a watch. But what is going on right there in that violence is really unsettling the market. And we saw that despite the fact the markets were closed yesterday for President's Day, they were open electronically, and they got crushed on the equities. We saw the low in the S&P down to 1320. We saw the NASDAQ down a good 40 handles. And they really came in and bought those treasuries. That flight to quality. We've not seen a flight to quality bid in the treasury market in quite some time. So everyone's looking to see what's going on with the oil. And that is the market that has moved the most, folks. Oil, crude oil was up $8. Yes, folks, you heard me right. It was up over $8. Currently has come back about $4.50, $5 up. But everyone's looking to the Middle East and, you know, the Saudi Arabia down the road. There's all these different moving parts. But right now, if Libya shuts down oil production, that could be the first hiccup. And eventually that Suez Canal, if that gets locked down, folks, that's nearly 5% of the oil to the market. So we can see how this all comes out together with this violence that we're seeing in Libya, Iran. You know, it's concerning. So we'll see how this pans out. But initially this morning, I want to drill on these treasuries because we had some data come out this morning. You know, we had a nice range of 119.04 to 120.16. But that consumer confidence came out at 9 o'clock, and these treasuries came off. You know, it was 119.26 this morning on that number. We've rallied nearly a point, made some new highs about 120.21. And I think that 50-day coming in at 120.06 is important. And I think the target up here is 121 even. Let's see if we reach that target. But people are coming to buy treasuries, no doubt about that. The SPOO, you know, I had an overnight low of 1320. I've tweeted many a times, and you can get me on my Twitter account at @TheKiller, but you can follow me there because I have been tweeting about this 1318 level. It's a huge level. We get underneath that level, you're going to see these HFT, these high frequency trading systems I continue to speak to. They will come alive, folks, under 1318. They came down and protected that level and found a bid in the market after this data. Made an overnight high of 1334.50, and I tweeted this morning my weekly pivot. You know, the weekly pivot's coming in at 35.75. So I think we're going to see how this pans out, but the market has a big tone to the downside due to the fact of the Libyan situation with Gaddafi. You know, the euro currency, sensational move as well. We saw just a snap down. It opened up, you know, Sunday night around 137 even, went down to 135.23. Tested that 100-day. I love looking at the 100-day, folks. You gotta buy into the 100-day here for me. The 100-day was coming in at 135.38. We've rallied since, made overnight highs, just touched 137.02. And we'll see if it comes off a little bit, but I think the killer pivot there today is 136.62. You know, it's really kind of going back and forth due to the fact the Bank of England, the rate decision, all this is coming into the inflation conversation they continue to have. And they actually did release some minutes today, so it's very important to look at that. From the floor of the CME Group, good luck trading. I'm the Killer. Remember one thing today, be the hammer, not the nail.